going to be talking about a very powerful process today to help you to understand, and more than understand, to implement how you can turn creation, what you create in your mind, into the manifestation, into the reality that you desire. And we're going to talk about understanding the law of attraction to a much deeper level. So I'm excited about the topic for today. Turning creation into manifestation. How do you do that? Well, first is to understand the difference between creation and manifestation. Creation always begins in the other dimensions. And where it begins is in somebody's imagination. Imagination is to open up to and to create in your mind, in your mentality, a reality. Now, that reality begins in the imagination. And if you can imagine yourself losing that weight, if you can imagine yourself in that loving relationship, if you can imagine yourself succeeding at work, if you can imagine it, that's creation. And the primal focus of all creation begins in the imagination. And there's not anything that exists in our world today, physically, that man has created that did not originate first in someone's imagination. In so many ways, the imagination is the blueprint. So creation begins in the mind. And there are a lot of people who create all kinds of possibilities in their mind. They open up to visioning and dreaming and have all these great imaginings of the future. But for some reason, they don't allow those imaginings to precipitate into manifestation. See, creation is in the mind, is in your mental realm and in your emotional body. And then it downloads and expresses itself physically as a manifestation that you are showing yourself your homework. The work that you've done in your mind, the dreams that you've had, the changes that you desire, you've started to dream it and create it in the mind. And then you charge it with energy in the emotional body. And as you charge it with that energy, that is one of the keys to bringing and grounding it into physicality. Because your mind, you see, there's four bodies you have. You have your spiritual body, which is the highest frequency of vibration. And it's connected beyond time and space. Your soul and spirit are outside of time and space. And they are there sending energy. A high frequency of energy is your being. And you step that body down to the next level, the next layer of the body that allows you to communicate and connect with that spiritual being that you are, is your mind, meaning your mentality, your mental body, the thinking, the dreaming, the imagining, the intuiting, all of that intuition, all of that is part of the mind. The mind that is the mental layer, the mental body. And that's the next frequency that downsteps from the spiritual, which is a high frequency of vibration, into a slower dimension, into a more tangible dimension called thinking, thought, beliefs, attitudes, choices and decisions that you make. That becomes the mental realm. And that's a more dense vibration than the spiritual. Well, then the next body that you have and that you occupy is the emotional body. And that's a deeper, denser, more solid vibration than the mental or the spiritual. So you take your dreams, you take your imaginations, your intuitions, and your visions of what could be different in your life, the changes that you desire, the losing of the weight, the new job, the new career, the new relationship, whatever it is you want to manifest. And then it has to, in order to become physical, it has to move through your emotional body. And your emotional body is the third body that begins to ground the manifestation process. And this is where most people get hung up. This is where most people fall short of manifestation, is because their emotional body is something they've been taught and conditioned to avoid, to not feel, or to try to control the emotional body, which says, I want to only feel the quote, positive emotions, which I define as those emotions that expand, like love, joy, peace, and happiness. And I am terrified and I refuse to feel the constricting emotions, the self-doubt, the anger, the hurt, the pain, those emotions that constrict. They often called negative. And that's where we lose power. We lose the energy to bring our mental visualization, our mental ideas, our intuitions, our dreams, and we need to filter it through the emotional body in order to ground it and to take that energy into a denser reality called emotion. And that's why one of the steps to the law of attraction is to act as if emotionally, as if you already have it, to feel it, to feel that you have that car, that new car you want to drive, to feel that you're in that loving relationship, to feel it, to generate the emotion, because that's what energizes the thought. And it grounds it, hear that. It energizes it, giving it energy, and it grounds it into a more physical dimension called emotionality. And then from that, when you have your spiritual, your mental, and your emotional bodies in alignment, then the manifestation happens with grace, with ease. The problem is that most who teach and many who learn about the law of attraction only talk about it from the mental level. Oh, just visualize, just see it, just imagine it, just dream it. And people do that. And then when it comes to acting as if, to feel it emotionally, they have so much repressed emotion and fear in their emotional body that they haven't dealt with because they were never taught how to do it. So therefore, that emotional body is cluttered, is polluted with repressed anger, fear of failure, fear of what will people think, self-doubt, procrastination, hurt, disappointment, all of the emotions from the past that interfere with the manifestation. And as an example, let's say you want to manifest something new in your reality, something that is a dream of yours. You really want it, you really desire it. But emotionally, on an emotional level, you have decided from the time you were 12 years old to repress your anger because it wasn't socially acceptable. You got humiliated, or your parent punished you, or whatever, and you decided expressing my anger is wrong, so I'm going to repress it, and I'm going to hold it and swallow it and deny it. Well, that energy of repression goes into your emotional body, and it's vibrating there. It's vibrating anger that you won't deal with. It's always in your auric field. It's part of the reality that you're going to create. It's part of your energy system. And guess what? If you have repressed anger and you want to manifest something beautiful and new in your life, well, how you feel emotionally has to be part of the equation. So I want to create this, but it didn't work out. Damn it, I'm pissed off. I got exactly what I wanted, to hold on to my anger. Instead of to manifest my dreams, I'd rather continue to repress my anger. And if I do that, I'm going to create more reasons to be angry. Not to punish you, but to show you that that's getting in the way. Because everything you create and manifest in reality, everything you create and manifest in your reality, and hear this, is going to conform to the emotional state of your being. To the emotional state of your being. It's always going to be part of that equation. Your emotional body, and if you have beliefs and attitudes, because that's what makes up the emotional body, is our mind, our thinking, our thoughts, our beliefs and attitudes about ourselves, about other people, about the world. That mental level, if I have beliefs and attitudes that the world's out to get me, the world's not there to be a friendly place, or they're not here to support me, or I have a belief and attitude that I'm misunderstood and unappreciated and taken advantage of, and that's the way of the world. That's my experience. That's what I've experienced in childhood. And I'm a martyr because I feel like the world's unfriendly and it's out to get me. Well, you see, that is part of the mental and emotional body that's going to interfere with the manifestation of your dreams and desires until you change it. Because the requirement to bring creation into manifestation is to be in alignment. To be in alignment with your power, to know you're powerful and that you create your reality. And that means, up until this point, You've been creating what you don't want around this situation that you'd like to manifest, because you haven't manifested it yet. So you've created something other than what you desire. So that's a huge clue that there's something I've been desiring more on an emotional level than the manifestation of what I want. You know, one of my teachers said to me years ago, you always create what you want, not necessarily what you ask for. You see, I want a loving relationship. I want to be in this loving, caring, compassionate relationship. But I also want to believe that and hold on to being a martyr, where people misunderstand me and they unappreciate me and they take advantage of me because, you know, my mother was and it was easy to follow, and that's what I think the way of the world is. That's what I think love is to suffer and to sacrifice. Well, those are old beliefs and attitudes that produce an emotional feeling. And that is what I want even more, is to maintain my martyr, than I would want to create a loving, empowered relationship. Because if you were to create it, you can't be a martyr anymore. That's a conundrum, isn't it? You always create what you want more. And part of you wants to continue being misunderstood, unappreciated, and not shift and change the beliefs, not allow yourself to open up to being loved. I want a loving relationship, but I'm terrified of being loved. That's a conflict in your consciousness that's going to interfere with the manifestation. And you'll end up getting what you want is, see, it didn't work for me. Poor me. I feel sorry for myself. And I go talk to all of my friends how the law of attraction just doesn't work. No, it always works. And it's attracting and creating what you don't want because you're out of alignment. You're on either the spiritual, mental, or emotional bodies. It's out of alignment. So therefore, it cannot precipitate. And in so many ways, folks, when you succeed at manifesting something you desire, when you succeed at any area of your life, what is success? Where does it come from? What does it mean? Many people think, oh, if I succeed, then I'm good. If I succeed, then things are right. And I'm a good person. And if I fail at something, I'm bad. I'm wrong. I'm a horrible person. And that's just not true at all. Not true at all. When you succeed at something, all that means is that your beliefs and attitudes, your thoughts and feelings are in alignment with what you desire, the changes you desire. And when you fail, that means my beliefs are not in alignment, that something's askew in my consciousness, and that I can change those. So failure isn't I'm bad and wrong, or God isn't giving me what I want. No, I'm not allowing myself to receive what I want. And in order to receive what you want, you need to be in alignment with the creation in your mind, mentally, to desire it, to imagine it, to connect with it, to feel it emotionally. On the emotional level is to feel as if you already have it, to feel the vibration of already owning it, to know that it's already yours. You've created it in your mind, and now your emotional body needs to generate the energy to take this thought and this dream and this vision of what you want to change in your life and to ground it through the emotional body, to bring it into a denser vibration. And as you generate the feeling and you hold it, the physicality of the illusion around you will conform to support what you think and feel. You see, there's a Bible saying, and it's a powerful Bible saying. It says, as a man thinketh, of course, being chauvinistic, the Bible, not mankind, but man, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh with feeling. So the feelings are so important. And if you've been trying to manifest something in the law of attraction and it hasn't been working, it's important for you to look at, okay, what is out of alignment? But what most people do is they think, oh, this just doesn't work. I don't want to change. I don't want to be more conscious. I don't want to become more empowered because I want to pretend that I'm weak. I want to pretend that I'm frail or that I'm not good enough or that I'm a failure, and I have all these judgments that I'd rather feel than being empowered. It's very vulnerable to step into and to own your power, to truly own what a magnificent spiritual being that you are and are becoming more of in consciousness. See, you already are a spiritual being, but you're not all conscious of that. And the more conscious you are of who you are, the truth of who you are a creator. Just like God got us all that is, you have the power to create and manifest your reality. You are a powerful creator. Do you see yourself as that? As I mentioned, imagination is where everything begins. If you can't imagine the change you desire, you won't change it. And likewise, the way you imagine yourself is called self-image. And self-image, along with belief, is what creates the boundary of manifestation, of what you will experience. If you have an image of yourself always running late, and that's who I am, I'm always running late, you will do everything. You will bend and twist reality to be sure that you're late, even with your best intentions. I'm going to be on time this time. If you have that image of yourself as always running late, you will create railroad crossings coming down wherever you're going and trying to be on time. You'll create delays. Your subconscious mind will do everything in its power to make sure that you're late, because that is what its job is to do, is to be consistent, to help your life become consistent. So until you change your self-image from, I'm going to dabble with the law of attraction and see if this works. See, right there, you've divided your attention. Because a part of you says, I want to make this law of attraction work and I want to manifest something I desire. And you divide your attention. I wonder if this really works. So you have a hidden agenda. You have two desires: to know if this really works, and then to change your reality. You need to bring them together. You need to let go and decide, I'm going to create what I desire. And up until this point, you've been creating your reality in alignment with what you truly want, not necessarily what you desire, but what you truly want. And if you've been wanting to pretend you're weak or powerless and a victim, then you create reality to align with that. Well, how do I know, Mikhail? Look at your life. Your life is there to show you. Your life is a manifestation of your consciousness. I don't know what I believe about money. What is your relationship with money? I don't know what I believe about about loving relationships. What is my relationship to that? What do I experience in my loving relationships? Am I being loved and celebrated and supported and honored and joyful and feeling embraced by loving relationships? Or do I have to struggle and try to be what they want me to be, and I'm never honest and connected, and I'm trying to perform and control a relationship? Well, those are some beliefs that love isn't safe. Those are some beliefs that, you see what I mean? Your reality, the manifestation, is calling you the grand bluff caller. The grand bluff caller. Because it will always produce what you want, not necessarily what you ask for. Not necessarily what you ask for. I want a loving relationship. I want a loving relationship, but I also want to feel sorry for myself. Well, I want to feel sorry for myself by not having it more than the desire to have it. And that's what tips the scales of manifestation. So getting to know yourself and understand it is so important in this process. What are the powers of creation that you need to have clean and clear in order to bring creation into manifestation? There are 5 powers that will transform your inner power into creation and manifestation. The first one I've already mentioned is the power of imagination. What do you imagine is going to happen to you? What is your imagination anchored in? Do I give more time and attention letting my imagination be filled with fear and doubt and worry or powerlessness? Or do I imagine myself? Do I allow my imagination to open up to possibilities, to hope, to joy, to dreams? Do I allow the imagination to focus on seeing myself, my self-image, as a powerful manifester? Or do I see myself as, I'm learning this and I'm not really good at it? Shift it in your imagination. You have been manifesting your entire life from day one. Now, a lot of the times, those were adopted beliefs and attitudes and conditioning from your parents that you adopted and believed and created reality to conform to that. But you've been manifesting your entire life. But do I see myself as a manifester? Do I see myself as powerful? Or do I see myself as weak? Am I empowered or am I disempowered? Who am I going to be? Which is another power, is the power of being. Am I going to be powerful in this lifetime? Am I going to be powerful moving forward? Or am I going to be disempowered? In so many ways, if we do not choose to be empowered, we default into being disempowered. It's just the way it goes. So, who am I going to be is something that you start every manifestation process with. In order to bring creation into manifestation, I need to decide who am I going to be. Because you see, if I'm going to be a victim or feeling sorry for myself and being weak, well, that's going to interfere with the feeling nature, the emotional nature that would ground and manifest, to ground your creations into manifestation. That would interfere with it, wouldn't it? However, when you can choose, I'm going to be different now. I'm going to stand in my power. I'm going to own the truth of who I am, a powerful spiritual being. And I'm going to start to imagine myself. What does that look like? How does that feel? How would I function day in and day out? And start to trust that. That is the power of being. And I get to choose that. And as I have the power of imagination opening up to possibilities and the power of being in alignment, then the third power that turns creation into manifestation opens up. And that is the power of motivation, the power of the future. Because all motivation, all change, all healing comes from my relationship to the future. Whose future? Yours. What is my future? What is my future self? Is that future self? And there are many futures out there that you have spun off. But which one is going to manifest is up to you. Because you are the energy between the past and the future. You are in the present moment. You are in the energy between. What has happened in your past has influence on you. But more so, what is happening in your future, the possibilities you have put out there for your future. And if you have the future possibilities of being alone and lonely and nobody loves me and I'm misunderstood and nobody gets who I am, there's a future out there that, has been created by you when you were feeling disempowered, when you were feeling martyred, when you were feeling weak and alone. That future exists. And guess what? It's sending energy into the present moment. Likewise, you start to open up and dream of being different, of having that loving relationship, and you desire it and you yearn for it, and you start creating a future out there of having that. Both of them are sending you energy. But depending on who am I going to be in the present moment, powerful or disempowered, loving or fearful, open or closed, depending on who I'm going to be right now is going to depend on which energy I allow into the present moment. The positive future I desire or the negative one that I fear. And whichever one that you hold in your consciousness with greater intensity, meaning greater energy, is going to manifest. See, didn't work for me. The law of attraction didn't work. Poor me. I get to go talk to all my friends about how nothing ever works for me. I got exactly what I wanted, to not change and to be weak. But when I can realize I can change my state of being, well, how do I do that, Mikhail? That fear is so intense. And what you're telling me is whatever is more intense is going to manifest. That fear is so intense. Do you remember what I said previously about the third body, emotional body? If you have all this repressed fear and anger, it's going to influence the manifestation. So I need to go into consciously to process through and to release the repressed emotion of fear. And the minute I release it in the present moment, the minute I process through it, and I'll give you a technique to do that, the minute you release that, you lift your vibration in the present moment. And when you lift your vibration in the present moment, you align to a different future that is a higher vibration than the one that you were feeling stuck in. So processing, and that's what I said, the third body is the one that holds the greatest challenge. The third body is your emotional body. Your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your physicality, your physical reality, your physical body is the most dense. And that's the one that you want to bring the creation in your mind and your emotional body into manifestation. Well, you're already doing it. Meaning, if I have this creation in my mind of being in a loving relationship, and emotionally I'm terrified of intimacy and it's more strong, then I'm going to get what I want is to avoid being in an intimate relationship, because that is more strong than the desire to have a loving relationship. So I can change the intensity by processing my emotions to clear out the garbage, to clear out the gunk, to clear out the lower vibrations, in order to then align my mind, my spirit, my soul, my mind, and my emotional body. And guess what? Once it's in alignment, manifestation happens magically. It happens magically, miraculously. What a difference a day makes. So I've talked about the power of imagination, the power of being, and out of those two emerges the motivation. The motivation, which is your relationship to the future. All motivation comes from that. A person who has no motivation has no sense of the future. They often are depressed because they're like, well, I'll wait and see what happens. I hope life gets better. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to give any energy or time into making that happen. But I'm just going to be the victim and hold my breath and cross my fingers and wait and see what's going to happen. And then I'm depressed because I feel powerless. And then I'm always afraid of what's going to happen because I don't believe I have anything to do with it. That's disempowered. But a person who lets motivation expand in their reality is a person who has a solid relationship with their future, even if they don't know how it's going to manifest. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I know I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to create this in my future. I'm going to allow this in, and I don't know how, but I'm going to be motivated in the present moment by connecting with what I do want. And I'm going to consciously work with those futures out there to mitigate the ones that are weak, to take my power back and to process the fearful ones, the ones that are lowering my vibration so that they no longer are interfering with what I do want. And here's one of the keys is the power of energy. Every future out there has energy. And so when you take the energy out of the fear, the fearful future, that energy doesn't disappear. It's just the electricity. It's just the energy within the fear. The fear is the form. It's a constricting form. But you can take the energy trapped there and start to dream and give it to what you do want, to the desire, to the manifestation. The energy that was trapped in the fear now is added to the desire, is added to the joy and the freedom of what you desire. It's like electricity. You've just now empowered the manifestation by transforming the negative energy into a positive experience. And you are the one who can do that by owning your fear, to feel it, to delineate what am I afraid of, and to process the feeling, to feel it. What you can feel, you can heal. You see, there's a paradox of positive thinking that people say, oh, well, I'm going to be positive. That means I'm going to ignore any of my fears or my doubts or my hurts or my disappointments. No, those don't exist. I'm just going to pretend they don't exist. Mentally, that's a great exercise, but it doesn't change the reality emotionally. You have to be able to own and admit the fear, the doubt, the worry. It's only then that you grab hold of it and you can be responsible for it and transform it. I can respond to my fear rather than constantly react. Does that make sense? So the power of energy, transforming energy, is to know that you are a dual being, that you are made manifest at this time physically, and you have a positive and negative energy within you. Positive and negative energy. And you can transform the negative into more positive, but you have to admit and own that you have it. Because the more you love someone, the more you love something, your future, what increases alongside of it is the fear of losing it. So the more you love something, the more the fear is going to be there. It's not bad and wrong, but if I ignore the fear, it can take over and shut down the love. But if I own and admit the fear is going to be there, I can then retrieve the energy out of the fear and lift it to a higher vibration called value. Why am I afraid of losing this? Because it matters to me. It's valuable to me. And so that's important to recognize. As long as you're in the physical world, you're going to have both positive and negative potentials. But you get to decide which one manifests when you choose to be powerful, when you choose to take your power back. What does that mean? To utilize your imagination, to utilize your power of being, to utilize the power of motivation. And then the fourth one is the power of receiving. To let yourself, once you've created and opened up to what you want, are you willing to receive it? Are you willing to be vulnerable and let it in? To let the new changes in, to let the healing in, to let whatever it is that you want to manifest, to let it yourself receive it. And again, because receiving is a feminine energy, and in a world of chauvinism, a world that is weighted and leaning towards the male-dominating chauvinistic standards that says doing is powerful and receiving is weak, gets in the way. Because everything you want to really move forward in your life, you need to open to receive from your soul, from your higher self. I want to receive guidance. I want to receive healing. I want to receive clarity. I want to receive love. And yet we have a conflict from chauvinism that says that's somehow weak. And it's not. It's one of your greatest powers, is your ability to receive with gratitude. To receive and to feel grateful, to appreciate what you receive, versus feeling guilt. Oh, this good thing happened to me and I feel so guilty. I feel I don't deserve it. Why did this happen to me? Am I willing to align the power of receiving with gratitude versus guilt? Another whisper, another clue to transforming the power of creation into manifestation, this fourth power of receiving. And then finally, the fifth power is the power of responsibility. To be responsible, to respond to what I desire, to respond, to make it happen, to own it. Well, how do I do that, Mikhail? By knowing what you want. And I'm going to go into that in a moment, but the power of responsibility is to own it, to set goals. Okay, I want to create a loving relationship. When? You can create it in your mind. It's out there. It's created. But when do you want to manifest it into physical reality? When do I want to ground it into my life? By Christmas of this year. Okay, there's a date. Christmas. December 25th, 2023. I want to start to visualize myself at Christmas in that loving relationship. I want to visualize myself talking to my friends about, I don't know what to get so-and-so for Christmas, and I love him or her so much, and I just want to find something. And imagine yourself in that future. Again, you're anchoring the future desire to a specific date. That's what it means to be responsible. A person who's afraid of manifesting what they say they want will keep it ambiguous. We'll keep it like, yeah, I want to create this, and whenever it's the right timing, whenever God has in mind for me, whenever it should happen. Well, that's not being responsible, is it? That's giving your power away to some unseen force that's supposed to make your decisions for you. You are a powerful creator. So by being powerful, and what I'm going to suggest by taking responsibility is ownership. I want to start to imagine it, and it's going to start to anchor to a physical date. So you're taking the energy, and now you're saying, by Christmas 2023, I want to be in a loving relationship. And now I have something I can visualize. Christmas time, I know what Christmas time looks like. I know what I do. I go to my family, or I stay home, or I do whatever. I want to start to then ground and anchor myself being in that loving relationship to generate, what will that feel like? What will that feel like? Can I imagine and see myself in a loving relationship? Can I let myself feel the gratitude and the joy of being loved and allowing more love into my life? Ooh, that's uncomfortable. Yeah, let me deal with the uncomfortability that it triggers in me. Let it trigger some of the self-doubt. Let me feel the self-doubt so I can release it. Take the energy out of self-doubt, take the energy out of fear, and then give it to the dream. Give it to what I desire. Give it to being responsible is responding. Taking responsibility is to your ability and willingness to respond. You have the ability, but are you willing? And see, that's the grand bluff caller too. Because if I say I want something and I don't take responsibility for it, then it won't manifest. So those are the 5 powers of turning your inner power, of turning creation into manifestation. And as you can align these, as you can value your imagination, your state of being, deciding who am I going to be right now in the present moment is going to align me to the future I desire. If I'm going to be powerful or disempowered, am I going to be strong or weak? Am I going to be loving or fearful? Those are states of being that you get to choose right now. And then it's going to open up the motivation, the power of the change you desire, of the motivation to move forward, the motivation that allows you to open up to then receiving, to see yourself having what you want, to imagine yourself having manifested this. And as I receive it, how is it going to feel? Am I going to feel I don't deserve it? Am I going to feel guilty? Or am I going to feel gratitude and appreciation? I'm so grateful and I'm so appreciative of my higher self, my soul, my ability to manifest, the law of attraction, whatever it is. I'm going to feel the appreciation for that other person that you manifest or for that new job, whatever it is to open to receive. And then finally to respond, to take responsibility and to own it. I create my own reality. I have been creating my own reality 3 different ways. By causing it, by attracting it, or by allowing it. You see, a person who has allowed their self-pity to be a major part of their emotional state of being, they're allowing self-pity to create the reality. Meaning, I have to always fall short to maintain that emotional being of feeling sorry for myself. And a part of me would rather feel sorry for myself than to have what I say that I want. And if that's out of balance, I can heal and deal with that part. It might be the inner child in you. It might be the adolescent. It might be the teenage version of you. But there's a part of you. There is a part of you that is resonating, vibrating, and holding on to that energy of self-pity. It's not bad, it's not wrong. It's about being aware of it. It's about saying, okay, let me heal the part of me. Let me go into an inner child meditation and go back to the part that didn't get something that it wanted in its childhood, or their parents wouldn't let you have something. Go back and talk to that part. I am your future and you're going to be fine. Connect with that to heal the part that feels sorry for you or that feels sorry for itself. And as you heal that and transform that part that then can feel good about itself, that can feel more powerful, it's going to change how you are today. As I said, the present moment is the energy between the past, which has influence on you, and the future, which has influence on you. And to be responsible is to take responsibility for what happened in the past and to heal and change it in your imagination, in your mind, to go back and to heal the inner child, to align, to give that inner child what they wanted in your imagination, and then to open up to having what you want in the future manifest. Those are the 5 powers. So how do you bring creation energy into manifestation, whether it's the big things or the little things? The first step of bringing creation into manifestation is to know what you want. First step, what do I want? Have a clear vision of the form of it. If it's a healing, physical healing of your body, can I imagine myself free of that dis-ease? Can I imagine myself healthy and robust and energetic and alive? I need to begin with knowing and being clear on what I want. Knowing and being clear on what you want. So important. And you can write that out. And I recommend writing it down, because if you just sit and think about it, it's up in the mind, it's in the creation mode. But as you take what you want and you write it onto paper, you are taking energy and grounding it physically by writing it down in a journal book and writing, what do I want? Write down, I want to manifest a loving, empowered relationship with a wonderful human being by Christmas of this year, that we get along well, and they have these specific qualities, a good sense of humor, they have this, that, the other thing. Write down details of what you want, as specific as you can. And then that's the first step, is knowing what you want. The second step is knowing why you want it. Why do I want this? Because that's the motivation, you see? Well, I want this loving relationship to show my sisters that I'm worthy of being loved, and they're all married and I'm single. Well, that's kind of a low vibration motivation, don't you think? I'm doing this to get the approval of my sisters? What do I really want? Maybe I need to go back to that. And if knowing why I want it is the second thing to write down. Why do I want to manifest this loving relationship? And again, you're not trying to audition for God's approval. Oh, I want this so I can save the world and help the planet and be a pink light. And, don't, your subconscious mind's going to roll its eyes. Your subconscious mind is going, oh brother, here they go again. Knowing, why do I want it? I want it because I want to share my life with another person. And I want to challenge myself to love more deeply than ever before. Those are real reasons. Those are real motivations. And I want to be less alone and more connected. And I want to co-create my life with somebody. And I want to share and open up to new possibilities and new dreams that are in alignment with that new person in my life. That is why I want this loving relationship, or why I want this new job. If it's just for the money, it's not always the only best reason. Let me look deeper. What else? Why else do I want this? For the freedom, for the autonomy, for the stability, whatever it is. Open up to more than just what the ego would want. Is a way to bring creation energy into manifestation, is to write down, why do you want it? To set your intention by the motivation. And if your motivation is weak, I want to do this to prove to my father that I'm, successful, or to prove to my mother, to prove, that's all ego stuff. And that diminishes the manifestation. So get clear and purify your reason why is the second step to bringing creation energy into manifestation. So I just want to do a little shout out. Thank you, Kay, for the donation. I really appreciate that. If anybody here would like to make a donation, please do a little infomercial here. Please consider doing that. I really appreciate it. It helps me continue my work. Helps me to expand my work into the world, and so many people need to hear what I'm having to say. So I want to continue to expand that, and thank you for the donation. Also sending up hearts, making comments, following me on Insight Timer, and also checking out some of my other recorded material that I have on Insight Timer. I have recorded material from how to know when your heart's open versus closed to all kinds of things that you can check out. And as you check them out, please review them. That all helps me on Insight Timer. So if you don't have the financial resources, then you can do it through sending up hearts or listening to my other material, following me on here, checking out my YouTube channel, or going to my website. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much for the donation, and Kay as well. And I'm going to give you... There's a really great, here we go. If you go to my website, which is soul-utions.com, let me move this over, soul-utions.com. If you want to make a screenshot of that, you can sign up for my newsletter. I send out a Wisdom Wednesdays and also a Solution Sundays newsletter. And then our self course is 8 modules, and it also includes a 1-hour private session with me to help you to move through your blocks, to help you get unstuck. And it's an incredible deal. So it has both the course that you can work on your own. Then within that course, you'll have an opportunity to have a Zoom call with me for 1 hour. And all those details are on the website. Check it out. It's only till July 31st that offer is available. So if you're interested in learning more and moving past you're being stuck, for instance, a lot of people that have emotional garbage that they can't sort through, that's one of the gifts that I have, is to connect and to see what's going on with you emotionally that you need to resolve. What's happening from your childhood that is interfering with your ability to manifest. So that's all something you can learn more about. That's my quote infomercial. So I want to continue on. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Kay. Let's move on to the third step. And the third step to bringing creation energy into manifestation is by building and aligning the energy of manifestation. And what is the energy? The energy of manifestation is emotion. It is the energy of intention, the energy of desire, the energy of expectation. Desire, expectation, opening up to emotionally feeling that desire that you have, to generate the energy of already having it, building and aligning your energy. So important. And so much of the energy I'm talking about is emotional energy. As I mentioned, you can have a very clear vision in your mind, but the emotions are where the energy needs to ground itself. And if I've got a lot of gunk in that, if I got a lot of frustration in old unresolved or unfinished emotions from previous relationships or from previous experiences or previous law of attraction attempts, then it's going to get in the way. So building and aligning emotional energy is to do a processing technique. And what I'm going to suggest is when you start to create in your mind and start to visualize and imagine having whatever it is that you desire in the future, what feelings does it engender within you? What is the fear? What is the constricting feelings? Yes, there's a lot of positive feelings. There's joy, there's happiness, there's peace, but what is beneath it? What is the constricting? What is the fear? What is the doubt? What is the hurt from the past that is interfering? To write down in this third step is to write and to process those emotions by getting a legal pad, a yellow pad, and writing me and my anger, or me and my fear of manifesting this loving relationship, me and my fear of getting this new job, me and my fear. Well, I don't know exactly what the fear is, Mikhail, I know, but this is going to help you to discover it. By setting your intention, I'm going to write and focus some time today, 30 minutes, and I'm going to get a legal pad, and I'm going to get a pen, and I'm going to write at the top, me and my fear of whatever it is you want to manifest, or me and my self-doubt, or me and my anxiety. It doesn't matter, whatever it is, but you want to write that down. And then you're going to start writing freestyle. You're going to ask for help, ask your higher self, your soul, to help you. I want to gain clarity on what's keeping me from manifesting this in my reality. I ask for your help. So important. Setting your intention. What do I want to deal with? I want to expose the fear that's interfering, that's lowering my vibration to keep me from manifesting it. So I want to write down me and my fear or my anger or my hurt or whatever it is that you discover is in the way. And it might be one or two things. It might not just be fear. It might be anger beneath that, or anger is on top and the fear is beneath it. Well, I need to do two separate writing exercises. But to start with, me and my fear, and then just write freestyle, free flow. Don't worry about sentence structure, spelling, paragraphs. No, just write. This exercise feels stupid. I can't believe I'm doing. Nothing ever works for me. I can't believe that. I can't even imagine this having any impact on my ability to manifest what I desire. This makes me feel like I'm back in fourth grade. Oh, when I was in fourth grade, I remember when, in other words, by writing it down and writing whatever thoughts are going through your mind about dealing with this repressed emotion, you slow down your thinking by writing down your thoughts. You cannot write as fast as you think. So by capturing your thoughts and slowing them down and grounding them by writing them onto paper, you tap into your subconscious mind where all the fear is stored. that you have avoided, that you have repressed, that you have denied. And by starting to write, then it's going to start to open up. And you're going to start to remember. And I'm so afraid this is what happened when I was wanting a similar thing back when I was in my 20s. And then this horrible thing happened and it just fell apart. And I'm so afraid. I was so humiliated. So the fear of humiliation, yeah, that's interfering. That's in the way. You start writing free flow and just letting it go and writing about what is holding you back from manifesting what you desire. Even though you don't know exactly what it is, you're going to set your intention to discover it, and then you're going to focus on the feelings around it and expressing it by writing it onto paper. I'm so angry and upset about this. I can't believe that I was doing this all this time. And just let it come up and out. Let the fears come out. I'm not the same person I was in my 20s, and I've changed and I've healed and I've grown. So I'm going to have the humility to be different. I'm not going to project the past onto the current future. I'm taking my power back from that fear. Start writing and writing and writing. And then it will shift and lift. Then the energy will dissipate and you'll feel more in alignment with what you want and knowing why you want it. So that third step of building and aligning your emotional energy by processing through the constricting emotions that are interfering with the law of attraction is so powerful and so important, and you can do it, but you have to make time, and you have to step into choosing, I'm going to be powerful enough. I'm going to be a powerful person, powerful enough to move beyond this resistance to manifesting what I want. And I'm going to then, the fourth step is to align your self-image to your empowered future self, to start to generate that empowered future you that has exactly what you want, that has the success at work, that has the financial resources, that has the loving relationships, that has the freedom from that addiction, that has the health and the vitality and the healing. Can I imagine that future self? And this fourth step is to align your self-image, meaning I need to create and sense the future out there that has exactly what I want. And I need to start to embody and change and shift my imagination, self-image, to align with that. That is the fourth step, aligning, and to sense and see yourself as if you already have it. Your future self, your empowered future self has it. And I want to connect with that and feel the energy flowing in. Because as I mentioned, you're the energy between the future and the past. The past, let's say that in that writing process, you discovered the fear of humiliation that happened. The last time I wanted to manifest a loving relationship, I was completely humiliated by friends and family, and I was 17 years old. Well, go back to that 17-year-old and do your work to heal that part, to do the inner child work. And today I don't have time to explain how to do all that, but you can figure that out. To bring that part of you into peace, and then to open up and to connect with, align to the empowered future self that has what you want, and let that change the self-image of how I see myself today. I'm a person who's about to be in a loving relationship. I'm a person who's about to have success. I'm a person who's about to manifest my dreams and desires. That's who I'm going to be right now. Not a person who's like, I wonder if this is going to work or not. I wonder if this is real. I wonder if this is... That's a person who's doubting, not responding. So that is so important, is the self-image to your empowered future self, to connect with it and to allow it to have impact on you right now. Fourth step in bringing creation energy into manifestation. The fifth step is, what do I need to let go of? Okay, I might need to let go of this old anger. I might need to forgive that person that hurt me when I was 17 years old. I might need to let go of my self-doubt. I might need to let go of the guilt that I feel from receiving. I might need to let go of clinging to, feeling sorry for myself and being disempowered. I might need to let go of waiting for the future to be decided for me rather than consciously creating it. I might need to let go of the procrastination around setting deadlines and setting a goal about being responsible for manifesting. So what do I need to let go of? Not all of those things, but I'm giving you lots of examples as the fifth step. What do I need to let go of? The sixth step is, then what do I need to embrace more of? Now that I've let go of that anger or that relationship that I had to forgive, I create more space inside of me to allow for, what do I need to embrace more of? I need to embrace more trust, more confidence. I need to embrace more gratitude versus guilt. I need to embrace more possibilities. I need to embrace my ability to receive love. Whatever it is, you'll know what do you need to embrace more of. And this is still the writing exercise. To write the exercise, meaning to process through the emotions. That was the third step. And then the fourth step is to align to your self-image, to your empowered future self, to do that in a meditation, to open up, to see yourself having it, and ask your future self for help. Ask your future self to help you become it, to align with it. And then what do I need to let go of? I can start writing again. What do I need to let go of? And maybe write down, I need to let go of my guilt or my undeserving. I don't know how to do that, Mikhail. Ask for help. Ask your empowered future self who has resolved this to help you. Ask your soul and spirit. Ask your higher self. Ask God, Goddess, all that is for help. That shows humility and willingness to co-create. I don't know how to fix all this. I don't need to. I need to ask for help. And then I need to focus on embracing more. What do I need to embrace more of? More trust, more love, more acceptance of myself, more commitment, more loyalty, whatever it is. Let yourself explore that. That is the sixth step. And then the seventh step is then to rewrite what you wrote in the very first step. Knowing what you want. I'm going to rewrite. This is what I want now. I want to manifest this loving relationship by December 25th, 2023, so that I can explore the depths of intimacy and move beyond the past and the hurts of the past and have a new opportunity to heal my heart and to grow in love. Whatever. Write it out. Write down what you want and why you want it. And then let it go. Trust the process. And that is the manifestation technique. To bring creation energy into manifestation. Bringing creation energy into manifestation. As I mentioned, I've been working with clients for over 30 years on metaphysics, spirituality, personal empowerment. And one of the things that is the most common, where we lose the momentum of bringing and manifesting our creations in our mind into manifestation, into the formation, is on the emotional level. That's where people are hung up the most, because we've been living in a society that denies our feelings, denies our emotions, says just be positive and ignore your fear and anger and guilt and shame and just shove it down and pretend it doesn't exist. Well, it's going to manifest in your reality by not getting what you want, by feeling angry, by feeling disappointed, by feeling guilt. Well, I need to clear that stuff out. And when the emotional body, the mental body, and your spiritual body are in alignment, manifestation happens with elegance, with ease. And the elegance of the scientific definition, which is the least amount of energy for the maximum results. The least amount of energy for the maximum results. That is elegance. And the law of attraction allows us to live our life more elegantly. And guess what? A lot of people think, I got a lot of work to do ahead of me. This is going to take a long time. Well, guess what? When you clear out your emotional body, when you align your heart and mind, and you clear out your emotional body, like I've given you these suggestions, when you've transformed your fear into greater love and understanding, when you've transformed the guilt into gratitude, when you've transformed the self-doubt into self-trust, that is forever a part of you. And every future manifestation, law of attraction technique that you do is going to improve because of the work you do now. So it's not like this is just for this one manifestation. I have to do it all over again. You might need to do it for the next 3 or 4 manifestations because there might be other emotions that are interfering with different forms of manifestation. Like I want to manifest good health might be a whole different fear or different constricting energy there, as opposed to relationships or career. So yeah, it's important to work with this, but once you clear this out, it's gone. And your emotional body is then vibrating and at a higher frequency of energy, aligning with what you desire. And guess what? That's when manifestation is a choice away. I want this to happen. And it happens. Oh, Mikhail, that can't be possible. Oh, yes, it can. It does. And it is possible. When you are in the alignment and fully empowered, when you've aligned with your empowered self, and you know what that is, you understand the empowered self. And that empowered self is made up of 7 steps or stages. The first stage is self-awareness that leads to self-acceptance. And that's what so much of the writing exercise is about. And I need to be aware of what's going on with me emotionally. I need to explore that and be aware of that. That first step of empowerment is awareness that leads to acceptance. The second is self-worth, is to discovering who you are as a powerful spiritual being and owning your worth. So critical. Second step of the empower self. The third step is self-esteem. The love that you earn by the way you live your life day in and day out with principles, with character, with dignity. That third step. And then out of worth and esteem emerges self-love, to love yourself enough to create and manifest your dreams. That's the fourth step towards becoming fully empowered. The fifth step is then out of esteem and love comes confidence, where I can confide, I can rely upon me. I know that my emotional body is clean and clear, and I know I can manifest anything I desire. The only thing standing between me and the reality I want is a part of me that would rather feel sorry for myself, that would rather pretend you're weak, that would rather hide your light. And I can heal that. Self-confidence, the fifth. Self-respect is the sixth step. And then self-empowerment, the seventh. 7 steps to the empowered self. And if anyone's interested in my course, there's a great special. If you go to my website, soul-utions.com, go to courses, Insight Timer Special, you'll see an amazing offer for the course, which is all video and exercises as well. It's 8 modules. It used to be 8-week course, but now I've made it into modules so people can take their time. Some people want to spend more time on self-awareness or self-esteem than just 1 week, then they have that opportunity. So that's something you can check out at the website. You can read about the special, and it includes an hour consultation with me on the phone, and I can help tune in and help you to accelerate understanding what's keeping you from manifesting what you desire. That's one of my strengths. So the manifestation technique, I want to already given to you. The bringing creation energy is to know what you want, writing it down, why you want it, building and aligning your emotional energy, opening up to your future self that already has it, and aligning your self-image, the way you see yourself now, to that empowered future self. That's the 4th step. Knowing what do I need to let go of, what do I need to embrace more of, and then to rewrite, this is what I'm going to manifest. 7th, with conviction, with determination, knowing what you wrote. The first question is shifted and changed because of the processing you went through. Now, as you go to sleep at night, you are entering into the subconscious and into the unconscious. That's a wonderful way to connect with that empowered future you, to see yourself having what you want, to imagine yourself at Christmas of this year being in that loving relationship, as that one example I mentioned. To see yourself, and that's why another little hint and clue here is when you go to come up with a date, a deadline date, don't make it a random date that has no emotional energy to you. That's why I picked Christmas. Holidays have an emotional connection, and you can imagine Christmas Day better than December 16th, unless December 16th happens to be your birthday or your anniversary. Then you can imagine it. But if it's just a random date, I don't know what day of the week is December 16th. Well, you don't know what day of the week Christmas is necessarily, but you know what Christmas looks like in your mind because you have a lot of experiences. So one of the other little tips here is when you go to set a goal and you come up with a deadline date, let it be something that has an emotional energy date to it. An anniversary, a birthday, a holiday, 4th of July, New Year's Eve, whatever. Anchor it to a date that is emotionally charged, that you can easily imagine. That makes it just much more elegant. So as you go to sleep at night, start to connect with that empowered future self. Start to live episodically what you want to create. What does that mean? So tonight I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to dream of being, let's use that example, being in that loving relationship. So I'm going to imagine myself already having what I want, already in that loving relationship. It's Christmas morning and I wake up and I imagine myself in this loving relationship lying next to that dream lover, dream partner that I've always wanted. To imagine what will that feel like? To sense them next to me in the bed, to feel their warmth of their body, to feel that love and that intimacy, and to feel that state of being loved. And then I'm going to sleep at night. My eyes are closed and I'm connecting with that future vision anchored on that date. And then I kind of drift off to sleep. Okay. We were laying next to each other. And that's the last I remember. So the next night, you do this for 7 days. The next night, you're going to sleep. You do your prayers, you brush your teeth, you do whatever. Then you get into bed, you get comfortable. And then you open up and connect with that future self that has already manifested what you want. And you pick up where you left off. Well, last night, let's see, where were we? We were in bed. Now, my eyes are still closed in bed. But I remember feeling their presence. Okay. Now I'm going to take it forward. I'm going to imagine that we're waking up, and I wake up and I sense that person. Don't have to visualize details of what they look like, but just sense their presence, sense their energy. You're drawing their energy in. They are a loving, passionate, communicating, open, responsible, trustworthy, humorous human being, whatever it is that you desire. You can feel their presence next to you. And you get up and you imagine yourself. They're going into the shower to get ready for the Christmas get together, and you are getting up and going downstairs to make coffee for both of you or whatever. You imagine yourself getting up and going down, and they're in the shower, and you're going downstairs and thinking about how grateful you are for having manifested this. And you go in the kitchen, you start making the coffee, and then you fall asleep. The next night, third night, episodic dreaming. You pick up where you left off. Okay, I go to bed. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was in the kitchen making coffee before I zoned out and went to sleep. Pick it up from there. And you're going to try to make it through a whole day from morning till night. In the episodic dreaming is going to allow you for 7 nights in a row to connect with that empowered future self that has what you want, to generate the feeling, and more importantly, to take the last thing you think about during the day is being in that empowered future. And you are going to accelerate the law of attraction to manifest more quickly than you would if you don't do this technique. It's a 7-day process as you go to sleep at night to start to connect with, to embody the emotion, to open up, to receive, so that your subconscious mind will align you to meet that person who best matches what you've created in your imagination. You will be at the right place at the right time. The law of attraction, synchronicity will happen. And all of a sudden, within what a difference a day makes, within 1 day, you'll know that this person is in alignment, is the one that you are meant to spend more time with and to share your love. That manifestation technique, so powerful. And you do it all the way through, for like I said, from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night. And add each one, adding emotional energy and weaving together this episodic dream, just like a soap opera on TV, episodes, it continues on, it doesn't start and end. Well, you're going to start and end one day, but it's a continuation. So now I have, during this video, shared with you the difference between creation and manifestation. Creation is easy. It's all in your mind. Everyone can create. But are you going to be willing and vulnerable enough to take that creation into formation, into manifestation, where you're willing to show your work to the world, to yourself? Are you willing to show yourself how powerful you are? Are you willing to stand in your power, to ground that? And you understand that transforming your life begins with owning those 5 inner powers of imagination, of being, choosing who you're going to be, of your motivation, your relationship to the future, of receiving, and of responsibility, to allow yourself to more fully Be conscious of those powers. That's going to give you the confidence to bring those creations into manifestation. And then finally, I talked about the 7 steps of bringing creation into manifestation. Knowing what you want with a clear vision, knowing why you want it with your intention, building and aligning the emotional energy, aligning your self-image to your empowered future self. What do you need to let go of? What do I need to embrace more of? And then knowing what you want. Those 7 steps is how you bring and turn creation energy into manifestation. And then the manifestation technique, the final one that I talk about, there's 2 of them. The bringing creation, those writing exercises that I talked about, that's all part of a manifestation. But then the episodic dreaming, where you go to sleep at night for 7 nights, waking up in the date that you have set, December, whatever date that has an emotional charge to you. And then imagining that day, start to dream it, start to imagine it, start to live it in your imagination. As you go to sleep at night, you're taking it into the subconscious, into the unconscious. You're welcome, Sati. You're more than welcome. Logan, I'm so glad you got some value from this, Logan. Yes, please follow me on Insight Timer so that you'll be aware of my next classes. Go to my website, follow my newsletter. That way I send out Wisdom Wednesdays, Solution Sundays. If you sign up for my newsletter, you'll be able to stay in touch with how to get more material, more information. More importantly, I want you to continue, all of you, to congratulate yourself. To congratulate yourself because you have moved yourself into a new possibility where you can not only bring creation into manifestation with greater elegance and ease, but where you can move and lift beyond the struggle of the past by aligning your spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical bodies into a oneness where you can feel and know just how powerful you are. You are a powerful and majestic spiritual being.